create a piece of work, especially one that you're proud of, there are some fundamental rules that come with it. Everyone knows that when you're creating a story, you gotta have an act structure. Beginning, middle, end. Maybe throw in a hero's journey template and add in some themes for the works to really become something special. You see, a theme could make or break a story. That's the power behind the theme of a story. So, when you not only have a weak theme, but a theme centered around something so problematic, it becomes a damaging presence. Star vs. the Forces of Evil is actually a show I quite enjoy for the most part. It was a cute episodic show that followed Star Butterfly, a magic princess who can travel through dimensions, and how she gets stuck on Earth with Marco, a nerdy human boy who likes karate. The two of them go through mystical hijinks as the two worlds collide together. Now, the premise is very simple, very wholesome and cute. They're both a fish out of water in each other's world, so everything should be fine, right? Wrong. They have to constantly deal with the evil Ludo as his legion of monsters who try to take Star's magic wand. And that's the entire basic of the premise of the show. Pretty simple. And you'd think so, but the showrunners try to complicate things and make Star vs. the Forces of Evil a bit more than just a fish out of water story. They attempt to make a story an allegory for racism. Yet Star ends up doing it the worst way possible. So, remember Ludo, the monster I was talking about? Yeah, the main antagonist of the series. What if I told you that the showrunners took the monsters and used them for the racist allegory? You tell me, Obi, that's so silly. Right? Right? Yeah, they seriously use the monsters who are the antagonists of the show for the entire runtime as the allegory for racism. The theme of racism is bad, and here's why would have done well if not for that they used literal monsters as their talking point. So, let's talk about it. Now, Star vs. the Forces of Evil is a cute show. Again, I really do like it, but I cannot let it slide simply because I like it. But the fact that they try to make the villains monsters while also trying to advocate against racism using monsters is off-putting. When your theme shows an oppressed group in society being the villain because of their oppression is just awful writing. Ludo, Toffee, even trying to make Eclipsa seem evil or morally gray is just ignorant. You critically ignore the idea that it was even possible that it was Muni's fault for making these antagonists the way they are. The only reason the main character even has this idea that monsters can be good is because she witnessed one of them taking care of a family that he has. He's seen as one of the good ones. Not that all monsters are inherently not evil. There's a clear cookie-cut difference between the two ideas. One frames the monsters as victims of systemic oppression, and the other frames the monsters as evil with a sprinkle of good with them because they are the good ones with a few quote-unquote bad apples. Now, they could have fixed this simple mistake with an easy trick. Start the show with this theme in mind. Star didn't need to be a complicated show, but if it wanted to be that show with deep and complex themes, maybe it should have started from there. Making the monsters the antagonists was their fatal mistake, especially when one wants to commit genocide because he's a monster and he's evil. Possibly had the monsters not be the antagonists, or used, their minority character to tell the story about the oppression of minorities that they face in real life, maybe the show could have been handled better. But that also would lead into some issues like making the POC the token character to explain racism to their ignorant white friend. I'd also like to show that this is the writer for the show. Then that explains a lot. The next part is dealing with the Eclipsa arc. They could have easily made the story not about people disliking interracial marriage, where she saves her frozen monster husband. It literally just makes the white savior story into a complicated 2-season plotline. And this is one thing I'm not sure how I'd fix. Maybe make the character centered around her child instead, that they want to free their wrongfully imprisoned parents as the only crime they committed was loving each other. Even though it's similar, I believe there is more complexity and art, while also not being an ignorant take of white saviorness, because white people are the only ones with powers and they ultimately decide who and who is not oppressed. Also making an Eclipsa the antagonist as well, or I shouldn't say that, framing her as evil for the majority of the story is also wrong and willfully ignorant. I've seen discourse in several medias where they dislike or fully believe Eclipsa is evil, when that isn't even the point of her character. In fact, she's not even that much of an extremist. She's only ever loved a monster, which was the crime. All in all, the show has a cute premise, but they also have a terrible execution of dealing with racism. Genuinely, when people tell you to listen to people of color voices, this is a prime example of what not to do. I want to thank everyone for watching. I know it's a little bit of a heavier topic, but I think it's a really educational topic to be dealing with and tackling. Comment your thoughts on this. Am I right, or am I just being overdramatic about a kid's show? I want to thank our patrons, Jason K and Carrie Smith of the Park Keen community. We always appreciate your support, as we do everyone's. Thanks, y'all. Ciao.